Bro,
Guess what? Guess who's back?
dude, the most canceled man on Twitter.
Hell
Vaush.
yeah.
He's here, baby.
3 years running.
I can't believe we're here with this disgusting right wing.
Everything, all of the above. I was actually going to ask you before we even started.
Don't say
recording,
no.
like,
Don't. Vaush,
I was going to say what?
Don't say yours. That was my defense that you weren't a. Now that you
Oh,
say
right,
you're not,
well,
I have no defense for you, dude.
Pointing at a 3-year-old. This looks nothing like a horse. Motion to the
exactly. I was going to ask if before we even started recording, if you wanted to talk about it because it feels so like
we gotta get into it. We gotta get into it.
Yeah, dude, like, I mean, how many
times? Get me.
How many days is there going to be a trending tweet that has like 30,000? I gotta watch my language. It's going on YouTube. Sorry. Like. That has like 30,000 retweets or something. Retweets. That's all about just like like when is somebody gonna, cancel Vaush? And it's like, what
can't cancel him IRL.
What do you mean? Like we're already talking about. It doesn't make too much sense to me, but one of the most controversial like web personalities
it just
for some
feels
reason.
So unfair with Sargon, Destiny both doing the stupid thing you did where they're like, I'm big brain. I will compare child sex labor to child labor. I'm big brain. Like, they did that shit too, and then just like you were like, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not a pedo, blah, blah, blah. This is all hypothetical garbage. But the fact that it sticks with you is like, that's... Are you ever like pity party?
You see
like
that Tristan Tate replied there.
I sent you the tweet.
My brother.
I said, how do these guys... What the hell?
How do they know? It's crazy.
I think it's like because the same thing happens every time, right? It's like, okay, so like I actually went over this on stream. Okay, oh god, from the beginning, right? Like the kinds of people who do this shit online, you're never going to convince them, and it only makes you look more guilty if you're like, I'm not a pedo here, like and you're like drafting up a giant, yeah. So for the most part, you have to kind of like shrug and ignore it. But I did go over it on stream to go like, okay, so like here's 5 million clips and like Discord screenshots, and like here's all the ways in which they're complete bullshit. And the majority of them are literally like clip chimped to the extent that like the clip cuts right before the like prepositional phrase that completely changed the. So it's all bullshit like that. But it's all clips from like years ago, which does make me think that I've gotten better at phrasing my in ways that make it harder to dishonestly clip me. So that, if nothing else, that's improvement.
Well, dude, the funniest one, I don't know if I sent it to our group chat or if I just sent it to Zach.
I think he sent it to me.
It was the one that was literally just, it was like number 11, and it was literally like a screenshot of the Discord where somebody in your Discord was just like, yo, 11-year-olds are hot, no cap, and you just reacted with like a clapping emoji, and they were like, look at what this dude is doing. I was like, this is so dumb.
Laughed approvingly for it's it always goes the same way too, because the initial thread, as it was in this case, will be posted by lefties who hate me. The person who posted was called like Marxist something, but then like 98% of the engagement will be far right people who jump on it and they're like,
at least we can agree on something, the right and the left. Vaush. That's
bringing
the nation together.
It's literally like the black hand and the white hand, like the really muscular people.
This is what the establishment fears,
and
it's
so
like
real.
Bro, the
not
fact
seeing
that
like a
you
ML walking towards me.
That meme as the black and white hand and not the predator handshake hurts me at a cellular level.
Oh, it is the predator. No, I'm picturing a drawing though. I know that there's that scene for Predator where it's like, son of a bitch, but there's the one that's
it's like when I hear Zoomers talk about that. Who's that crying guy meme? And I'm like, dude, Michael Jordan? You're talking about Michael Jordan, dude? What the hell is wrong with you?
The picture is like, this is what the establishment fears, and it's a guy with a white guy with a Confederate shirt and like a black guy with a Malcolm X
what
shirt.
you were. Oh, okay,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that image.
We did that for the AJ episode.
We did, yeah. That we used that. We like did a spin off of that one for the album art. It came out pretty funny.
You're gonna love AJ, bro. He had such nice things to say. He said after Vaush appeared on Cold Cuts, he was likable. I could stand him, and I was like,
yeah, okay. Maybe, you know what?
You know what? Out of my native environment where I have to virtue signal to a bunch of lefty hogs.
Dude, I tuned into some of your
chill.
I stopped. I'll still tune in sometimes when you're live, but like there was the one day where I was just like, poor Vol. It was like, as soon as I clicked in, you're like, chat. you don't have to ask permission to masturbate to people. And I was just like, are you like Mother
I
Goose?
remember that.
Literally, I was like,
I love that.
God, dude, that sucks
That's
that you have
so-
to sit there and talk
that
about
is
it.
classic.
It was on like consent in the workplace or something, and it was like, well, aren't you kind of violating someone's consent to like think about them while masturbating?
Dude,
no,
I would feel
No.
more
No, you're
violated
not.
for someone to come up to me and say, "Can I masturbate to you?" I'd be
That's
like, dude,
more upsetting.
yeah, that's more upsetting. Don't say anything.
Excuse me, Miss Coworker Lady Secretary. Your breasts look luscious today, and if you're with your permission, I'd like to go jerk off in the bathroom to that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
literally.
There's a little Vaush stink on. Dude, what was that shit you said the one day where you were trying to say you're tired? I bring this up every time we talk.
Admittedly, I am beset by tiredness.
Dude,
That's
I
a banger
love
right
that.
there.
I
That's
love that shit.
I need that on a
Shakespearean.
shirt. You need to make a shirt that just says that.
You should.
Admittedly,
I
I
actually
was-
said that.
The way you say it though is so like you literally sound like a Shakespearean actor, dude. It's just so. It's like,
Well,
dude,
it
just
really
say
is
you're
like-
tired,
to the bit.
Vaush.
You know when
Just
you
say you're
studied
tired,
when
dude.
you study Shakespeare in like high school, that's what you do with your English teacher. You like highlight a line and they're like, okay, let's break down what this means
Yes,
because
yeah.
he's saying it in a very like fruity way. You know, to like
it's
find out what it
highly
actually says.
Dude, do you
It's
guys
pure reason doing that too, though, right? Because like what I wanted to say was,
Whoa,
I'm sorry,
whoa.
that's
Say
pure
that
brain
word.
damage. I wanted to say I'm tired, and my brain
Oh,
just
you did
threaded that
wanna
together
say
without
that?
my consent.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I
your
do.
brain making you talk like this.
It's my
Okay.
brain. It's my brain. It's called autism, and you're being very ableist right now. Thank you.
Do you feel like you're at a point now where you've been like on the scene long enough that, or does this still happen? There are like other left-wing talking heads that see a thread like that one that was trending about you and like cut ties with you. Does that still happen, or are you kind of like past that stage of your career?
It doesn't happen as much now because I think like if you followed me this far and like me to this point, you kind of have to know how this all goes. But there's still a regular trickle, right? Like the whole ContraPoints breakaway thing didn't happen more than a year ago, I think. Noah
right.
Sampson, who I used to be on
that.
okay terms with, was liking
Is
tweets
that the
saying I should be
mustache
killed.
guy?
That's the mustache
He's
guy,
too
yeah.
twinky to have a stash like that. It should be plucked
I
out
don't know who
hair
that
by
is.
hair. Dude, I hated that. God, I sound like I watch your content and I hate this, but I saw the video you did with him where you were just like, bro, half the shit you said is incorrect. Why are you saying this? And he was just like, well, I don't think you should disagree with a black woman, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, so you have like, he pretty much walked back everything he said while still saying you were in the wrong. And it was just like,
This is literally like half of my time spent disagreeing with the left. It's just like whether or not I'm legally allowed as a white guy to disagree with non-white non-guys. Yeah.
I just saw, this was a couple weeks ago now. I don't know this guy, but he seemed like the sweetest guy. Sharky, is that his name? You know what I'm talking about?
Shark 300, yeah.
oh yeah, there was
300.
something
Really,
like
I
that,
love
right?
Shark. Yeah, Shark's
He's
great, yeah.
he's I don't know anything about him except I don't know, somebody I think in our Discord was posting about some drama that you were loosely tied to, but then he got kind of chewed out online for something that he said, either, oh man, I don't want to misquote him, but it was like maybe in defense of something that you said, or I don't know what. And
yeah,
like
basically there were like some other creators, some of whom were black, some of whom were white, who were kind of like enabling it, who are calling him like an Uncle Tom and the C slur for like
how proof
defending
is
me on a
that
take.
that as a human level everyone wants to say slurs, that the most leftist people, as soon as you disagree, it's like N-word.
yeah,
No, I
it's
actually,
It's like-
I literally believe that. Yeah, a lot of these guys are like waiting. There's a bunch of like these white guilt like cuckolds that are like limp-wristedly waiting for their black hanger-ons to give them permission to be super racist against like the wrong kind
It's
of black
so
person.
weird,
and
dude.
they
I don't
jump
get
in.
it,
It's
man.
so weird.
But I ended up watching some of the. I mean, dude, I think that guy Shark posted like, it was like a freaking 2-hour video or something. So I didn't watch the whole thing, but I was watching him kind of give like a little debrief of the situation. And in the beginning, and I love when people open a video or a statement like this where they're like, hey guys, I heard what you all said and you're all insane. I did not do anything wrong. And let me explain to you why. And I was like, I don't even know this guy. And I was like, tell him, baby,
Based.
tell him. Like that is like
We need
there's
more of
so
it,
much
yeah.
there's so much self-flagellation online, and especially from like left-wing people, and it's exhausting and it's so cringy. I hate to see that. So when I saw him defending what seemed like a situation that didn't even need to happen in the first place. I was like, all right, this guy seems cool.
It's like an integrity thing. If a person will walk back, like the Noah Samson guy, like after he talked with me and he was like, oh well, you know, because like all the he said was factually incorrect. Like he walked it all back later. He just went and did the exact same thing again. So when people walk off the shit they say super quick, that doesn't like they're not. It's totally insincere, right? I respect people with a backbone to like hold by positions, even if I don't even agree with the position.
Yeah.
At least it means they
Just
believe
stand
it.
your
Well, I feel
ground,
that way
yeah.
with racists because we were talking about this on the last episode. It's like
What?
this. Who was that chick that was getting canceled because she did
Who?
something on Twitter, Harris, and then she actually was liking racist stuff.
Oh, the girl that we were talking about the girl who posted the Little Mermaid fan art, but she drew the character like she was like, I just saw the movie, it was so good, I drew fan art, and she drew the Little Mermaid as like white, like a white girl, and people were
like the original Ariel, right?
Yeah, like not quite the original. It was like fan art, like her own, her own imagining. It was kind of a mix, and people were immediately she was getting chewed out, like, how dare you? Like, why can't you celebrate that the new character is black and all this blah blah? And you're like, well, this seems like a bit of an overreaction. But then it went on a bit longer. It went on. Well, she was saying
she wasn't.
Why
racist.
is she was like, why is everybody harassing me? I'm not being racist and all this stuff. And then a little bit longer, it surfaced that she was going through the comments in that thread and liking like the most racist, deranged like takes that people were putting.
Oh,
and so,
no, I didn't know this.
It was just like a roller coaster of, I was like, whoa, like whiplash.
Man, that really sucks because I think I know the thread you're talking about, and I like. Okay, this is like a situation where everyone's in the wrong because drawing white Ariel isn't racist.
No, it's like that when the Ryan Gosling is MLK. Like it's chuckle.
But even Ariel was originally white, the original thing. But then it's like, then I have to be like, okay, well, you know, it's not racist to draw that. Like that's an acceptable interpretation of the character. That was the cartoon version. And then people get mad at me for that. But then you look and it's like, well, no, she actually was racist. It was a race thing as well.
Right.
But to be fair, you never know. Like, dude, everyone's human. I could definitely see, like, I'm not running defense. I'm just going to throw this out there because I didn't see the thread. I could see someone getting a ton of hate and then liking those fucked up comments just as like a, oh, they're supporting me, or like, you know what I'm like. Maybe you think you're against. I don't know. I'm not going to run defense for this.
People can be pushed that way, though past a point, right? Like you're kind of culpable for that too, right? If it's like, one internet cancellation away from like spamming the N-word, it's like, okay, well, you know,
maybe you were
whatever led you here.
Like if a black guy mugs you, you don't join the KKK. Right, you know what I mean? Like
you wait for 2 muggings and then you join.
2+, it's totally they pay your coverage.
And then you start to be like, wait a minute, but I remember, like, this was years ago now, but remember that girl that was got in trouble because her Animal Crossing character had space puns?
Puns, yeah.
That was that's like almost old, and it's like old Twitter at this point. It feels like a different era of like
it's like 2.5 years ago.
I know, but it's like
it was so
it just moved so fast. I know, it was a different time. Like I think it was more than 2 years ago. I want to say that was like. That might have been.
It was like 2017, 2018.
I think that was like 2018. I think it was like 5 years ago now. But it's like
no, it was during the Animal Crossing was not by then. It was during the pandemic. It would have had to be.
I was not on Twitter at that point, but the reason I know about it is because it was so wide-reaching. Like I think it started the most brain-dead conversation ever. That like, and everybody wanted to like give their opinion on whether or not it was okay. But
I'm so fucking tired of the race war. I'm so tired of the race war, man.
No,
have you guys seen the most recent Spider-Man?
Yeah. Did you see it?
You mean the one with black Spider-Man?
The one with black Spider-Man. I'm not going to spoil.
There's actually multiple.
I'm not spoiling anything because it's really good.
What?
Amazing. Oh, you liked it?
Oh no, no. I loved it. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to spoil anything.
It's such a good movie.
Watching and you haven't seen it, you owe it to yourself to watch it. But I will say, like, I don't think this is a spoiler or anything. But like, obviously, the movie's subject is implicitly racially charged. Miles Morales as a character always has been black, Puerto Rican, Spider-Man. Like there's always been that, but the movie, thank God, thank the fucking Lord, does not talk about it because it's a fun superhero movie and it's great and it's good and they don't talk about it. And if they did, I think it would invite a lot of really bad discourse, and I'm glad they didn't because I just wanted one break from the race war.
Well, I mean, first of all, the movie's incredible. I don't want to give any spoilers either, but when I was watching it, I was just thinking in general, race completely aside, I was thinking, oh my God, there are going to be so many kids that watch this movie and are going to see the characters in this movie and be like, holy shit, he's literally me. And they're going to base their entire personality off of this character, any of the characters that they just think are cool in the movie, which is like crazy to think about because I remember being a kid and seeing movies where I thought the main character was like cool or had like a cool one-liner, and then it was like, holy shit, like he is literally me. But I also was I actually had a little talk about this on House of Declines podcast a week ago, and there was a period of time where there was a lot more representation of Black people in movies, which on a surface level, I mean, on every level is fine. It's great. But what I started to kind of like feel like, are we going to start? It felt like there was a big wave of Black main characters in movies that were really like one-dimensional. Like it was just that they would put somebody in a leading role. Like the Black Panther movie, I think is a good example of like, I don't think that character. Did you guys see that movie? Did you see the Black Panther? I didn't.
I saw the first. I didn't see the second one.
I didn't see the second one. The first one I saw, and it's like, I mean, it's like a, you know, pretty much box standard Marvel movie, but I don't think that Black Panther is a like compelling character. He's like, he himself is like heroic and valiant and brave and kind-hearted, but like those do not make for like an interesting character to watch. Do you know what I mean? And I started to feel like there was a trend where there was more Black representation in movies, but all of their roles felt like, can you believe how crazy this white person is? I'm the straight guy. I'm the normal one. And I was starting to think like, is this going to get lame at a point? Like, are we going to, like, I would love to see Black representation in movies where the character is like, you know, crazy or different or weird or maybe unlikable, or you know what I mean? Like I think
you're saying Black
in that
people
era.
Make your own movies and
No,
stop
I'm saying,
changing white characters.
I'm saying
Black.
like I wanted to start. I started to feel like I wanted to see some human, like really interesting characters, not just Hollywood doing the Hollywood thing.
I get what
like,
you're saying.
This is what you want to see?
But do you think it's fair to say
we're out of it now? I think. Sorry, not to cut you off.
Well, I think we're still in it. I think it's just a symptom of Hollywood being hacky. Like, I feel like there was a lot of movies and shit. I mean, it's all rehash, gabagool, bimby bumby, flimby flimby, garbage.
I think this is a great example, like the new Spider-Man movie, where it's really like the characters are really interesting because they're flawed and, you know, and like have different opinions and they're, you know,
no spoilers.
Fighting,
no spoilers. I still got no, but I like the first one a lot. I like the first one.
If you like the first one,
dude,
I
have to like the second one.
Dude, they cranked everything
Who's
up
the big
to
guy
like
like
11.
This? Kingpin.
Kingpin, dude, I love Kingpin, dude. I love characters that are just like a mass of body and then like little head.
No, a big lad, right? The greatest type of character.
Yes,
it was just a big guy, you know,
big beefy.
I know, I know what you mean. It's like patronizing representation, right? We saw it with gay people, with like gay best friends suddenly being like all over the place in media, and then you'll have like the Asian hacker character, and like it kind of falls to the wayside. I think that people, because like Hollywood execs, like the people who actually make these decisions, are all like ultra conservative, ultra wealthy 80-year-olds, right? Like they're not they
also
hear
out of
word.
touch.
Oh, so out of touch. They hear word that something is getting popular or something is getting like normalized, and they're like, okay, right, like, okay, so we need a project to capitalize on this market because it's a market to them, right? Like for instance, a ton of stuff in like the Star Wars prequels was literally built around trying to capture like the a female and non-white market demographics. Like a ton of the stuff that like aliens are doing, like the wacky aliens or whatever, literally like workshopped in LucasArts. Like, okay, well, what do we think Black viewers would like? Which is really patronizing when you think about it. I don't know, like Jar Jar. I don't know, right? Like, what were they doing behind
my god.
No, but like literally, and it's like, but that's one way of doing it, you know? But then in like the Miles Morales Spider-Man, it's like, okay, Miles Morales is Black, and that's not incidental, right? I mean, he grows up in Brooklyn, you know, there's clearly like that's a part of the character. It's relevant to the story. It's not just like stapled on, but it's also not patronizing. He's just a character, and you can embrace that with like all the sincerity of of any other character without thinking it's done in a patronizing way. And I just want more of that. And I
he's
think
well written.
He's real.
Well
Just be real.
Yeah,
he's real.
Well
Yeah.
written. And I think like if Hollywood producers really believe that black audiences are really craving, they're really itching to see black representation in Hollywood, what they should do is they should do them the justice of actually writing compelling, interesting characters. That's what should happen. But I do feel like we're at a time now where that is happening. Like now we are getting, I think now we're past just the like representation, and now we're actually at a point where it's like, okay, let's actually come up with some good movies like with these characters. You know what I mean?
That's Hollywood needs a punch in the wrist.
For some reason, it never clicked with me. Like until I swear to God, we were on this podcast.
I already know what you're gonna say, bro.
Somebody pointed out that Jar Jar Binks was a racist caricature, and I like, dude, that
no, I thought it was Watto.
Like,
it was Watto that you were surprised about.
Who's Watto? Which one is Watto?
The Jewish racist character.
Oh, that one too.
Because you were like, what do you mean?
Okay, I think I swear to God, I think I'm a little bit like stereotype blind because I heard that shit and I like spit out my coffee. I was like, what? Like, how is... I was like, what is the equivalent? Like, how is Jar Jar Binks a racist?
Yeah, it almost feels racist to
like,
point it out.
Like,
it
does a little bit, yeah. But he does. He speaks. It's like a Jamaican accent, right?
I don't look at Jar Jar and think, oh, that's like a black person. But I isolate his voice and then try to think, okay, like they would have had to have people professionally like working on the voice, like they would have had to develop a consistent character profile for the voice with templates and what words and how to pronounce this and that. Like they knew what they were doing. What does this sound like? And it's like, well, I don't know. It kind of sounds a little bit like, you know, slave massa talk is what it sounds like.
Is he portrayed by a black
guy who almost killed himself for all the hate that Jar Jar Binks got?
Wow,
which is crazy because I don't even think he did the voice. I think he was just like
the body, the bodysuit guy,
kind of like the alien guy. That guy probably doesn't get enough love. The guy who had to wear the alien suit,
or the original Darth Vader before his voice lines got redubbed.
Right, because James Earl Jones took over. Right.
Wait, I have some crazy info that I have on the Wikipedia page here. Did you know that Michael Jackson originally wanted to play the role
of Jar Jar Binks?
Of Jar Jar Binks, but they got into a disagreement because he wanted to portray the character in wearing prosthetics, but George Lucas was like, I really want him to be CGI. So that he did not end up portraying.
We could have had that.
Can you imagine that though? That is kind of
that might have tarnished the older Star Wars legs. Oh no, because that was that was already tarnished.
That would have been Phantom Menace onwards, man. That could have only elevated it.
What the hell was he? Dude, Star Wars was so fun, and then he drops that trilogy, and 99% of it is like Glenn Gregory, Glenn Ross, business, internet, actual like coffees for clothes. Like I was a child watching that shit, and I was like, this sucks. This sucks ass, dude.
But dude, they should have like reading that. It's like holy shit, they should have put Michael Jackson in that role. Have you guys seen The Wiz? Like Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow in The Wiz, right? It is, yeah. But dude,
I have not.
Okay,
on the break, one where they took on
the break, show. And they made it black. Dude, on the break. All right, all of the allegations aside with Michael Jackson.
And
we gotta watch. I need you to see this clip of him. I was watching this stoned with my roommate years ago, and we were kind of like watching videos of Michael Jackson doing like live performances because he's obviously an insane dancer. Dude, him portraying the Scarecrow in The Wiz, he looks like a cartoon character. Like the way that he moves his body is some of the most insane, like unbelievable, inhuman, like watching him when they're like strutting down the road, he's like, you know, kicking his feet and jumping around like this, and it literally looks like they like penciled him in. Like you're like, how can a man
I'll have to see it.
We gotta watch it.
Some of
it's
his
crazy.
moves weren't authentic, correct? Like I was always told that
the lean,
that one's not authentic, correct?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the part of his mystique, part of the mystique around that move is that actually nobody really knows how he did it. The agreed upon theory is that they were wearing shoes that had a divot in them, and there were little nail heads sticking out of the bottom of the floor that they would latch into the shoe,
yes.
and they would lean forward. But if you watch video of him doing it live, you're like, I watch it and I'm like, that ain't it, because like they're leaning so fucking far forward, and they're not how could you see something as small in the dark as a nail head to make sure that your feet were in the right place? There's just no way. And the other working theory is that literally he had magnets in the sole of his foot.
Why does every crazy conspiracy theory have a magnet?
Because magnets are crazy,
spooky.
But apparently this other theory is that there was like an electromagnet, like a really strong electromagnet under the stage that they would power on at that point in the song, and they would lean forward.
Those things are so strong.
I think that's it.
That would affect the plane or some.
Dude, we gotta watch some Michael Jackson videos. This shit is insane. I'm gonna look some of this shit up, but
I love how this started as like
crazy.
The Vaush getting canceled, and then immediately just like,
no, this is great. This is a perfect segue. You know,
what are you playing right now? By the way, is it a shadow on your shirt? Is there purple, or is it straight up?
No,
blue?
there's purple on the bottom. It's like a desert landscape, and I wasn't playing anything. I was responding to a DM.
Sext?
I'm just gonna hang out tomorrow. No, tragically, I wish it was. Just answering a plan for tomorrow.
I'm also reading something else on
sex.
Wait, I'm reading something else on the. Look at this. Okay, first of all, Jar Jar Binks. Some commentators arguing that the character was based on stereotypes of African Americans. It says it right here. The hate affected Best personally. That's the guy who played it, Ahmed Best, who rejected the idea that the character was based on racist stereotypes. So he himself did not believe that was true. And then it says here in 2015, a Reddit user posted a fan theory that Jar Jar Binks was originally going to be revealed as a manipulative villain.
Sith, yeah.
Dude, but this plot point was removed due to the character's unpopularity.
Dude, the best theory I've seen is if you look at all the Sith's eyes, they have this weird like cat dilation thing going on. He is the only other character to have the exact same Sith eyes.
Really?
Literally, dude. It's an interesting theory. And also, when you watch the footage of George talking about it behind the scenes, he keeps saying Jar Jar is the key to all of this. And a lot of people assume it means making Jar Jar funny. I really think it meant weaving him in as the. I'm so convinced.
That's really interesting.
We missed out on something like truly great.
Truly beautiful.
And it says the theory gained popularity on the internet and was even encouraged by Best, who implied that it could have been partially true.
See,
so
they finally were going to give a black character something good, and they just pull it away. They just pull it away from Jar Jar, dude.
He became a. Would that have been worse for the African American stereotype accusations if he actually turned out to be a bad guy? Evil? Or would it have been better because he was more
I will say, you know how there are like white supremacists or whatever who are like, oh, it's the Brave New World, Jews control Hollywood. Never again will there be like a woman or a black person who's a villain. That is so cap. Nobody minds having minorities in villain roles. They love that. Nobody in Black Panther, or like none of the people who like Black Panther, no black people were like, why was the villain a black guy? Nobody cares. People love villains. People love villains. Yeah,
villains are the best.
Everyone loves villains. The idea that like woke Hollywood means that you would never see women as the villains. No, it means you would see less women as damsels. There would be more women as villains because villains, by nature of their narrative relationship to the protagonist, have power.
Women, dude, they're all villains, bro.
Yeah,
I
want to see
villains. No,
that's why I'm woke. Okay, I want James Bond to like reach the top of the volcano secret lair, and I want him to beat the shit.
Vaush is woke.
Nice sexist leftism.
They got Vaush.
Vaush went woke.
Vaush. He went woke, bro.
Reddit.
Eat it or keep it.
It's a businessman.
I'm canceling the shit out of you for your take on black people in movies.
Dude, Harris is the same man who said, I don't think anyone's brought this up, but there's no more white people in commercials.
No, I didn't say that.
You did say that. You did.
No, I did bring
Harris,
up.
that makes no sense. Your people are the reason that's the case.
Exactly.
You know what? And actually, another callback to the House of Decline podcast that I just did. Because we were just talking about how it's fun to play villains in movies, and we were joking about how I had recently watched Hercules. You guys saw that one?
Oh, amazing!
Amazing.
The Disney classic.
The Disney classic. Yeah. Where James Woods, who recently has been posting a lot of like anti-LGBT
Gone off the deep end,
shit. He's
right?
gone off the deep end, which apparently he's been that way for a long time, but he's just, I
God
don't know,
damn it, I
people are just
love
not
him though.
finding
I
out.
love
I know,
he's so
but
good
I
as a
was
character.
House told me that, and I was telling him, I'm like, that's such a shame because him as Hercules or him as Hades in Hercules is like one of my favorite voice acting performances, bar none. Like he is so good in that movie. And it's funny because House was just pointing out that it's like it's actually problematic to look at it now because Hades was really Jew coded. Like James Woods really
You were
cranked
telling
up.
me that, but I
He
didn't
really
recognize that.
he really cranked. Well, dude, when I watched Hercules recently, first of all, I mean, it holds up. It's an amazing movie. And what I loved about it is that there's so much Yiddish in the movie.
That
Danny
yeah.
DeVito and James Woods
Oi,
are
doesn't he
using
literally say like "Oi Gavalt" or something
yeah,
like that?
I think he says that, and one of them says like somebody calls another one a schlemiel, which is like another Yiddish
Yes,
word,
dude,
and
and
it's and
Megara shoots the Palestinian child in the head.
yeah, that
That was
happens
I
too.
remember
crazy.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And it's funny now because watching the like we were talking about it being House, and he was just saying how now seeing how like James Woods is this like kind of like hateful conservative type dude, and the
So
fact
what
that
you're
he's
saying,
not Jewish and was playing a Jewish
what you're
stereotype, it
saying is
actually
like
taints it. I
yeah, it's like
it's,
the original read was that it was like a gay icon or whatever, but now it's like, oh, was in his mind, was he doing like a Jew impression?
right.
You
I thought
know?
he was. I mean, I thought he was doing. It was like sassy Jew icon. But that's what's funny about stereotypes, especially in a villain character, because when I watch it as a Jew, I'm like, finally some representation. But
Finally,
then,
a
but
Jewish
then,
villain
Well, you know what
but
who
this
then I
wheels and
learned
deals.
that James Woods is not Jewish and not cool, and I'm all of a sudden like, well, it doesn't take away. I mean, look, it's still my. It's my. He can't take away my feelings about it, which is that it's still such a good voice acting role, but it
Yeah, I
does
don't.
taint
I
it
dude,
a
I
bit,
was
the
gonna say
context.
based on how he looks, I don't remember him looking like a stereotype, but looking back now, based on what I know about Jewish people, the fangs and the hair on fire is like a dead giveaway that he's Jewish for sure.
I mean, I think in general, I mean, it's funny that him and Phil, the little
Yeah, yeah,
satyr,
the
Satyr.
satyr, yeah.
Yeah.
are the two like Jewy characters in the movie, and they're the
Well,
most like sniveling,
there is a
like,
reason for all this, right?
how's that?
Because like the conception of Lucifer as like this wheeling or dealing like Mephisto kind of guy
Uh-huh.
was heavily tied to like iconography of Satan as goat with like horns and hooves and stuff, and that
Ah.
was heavily tied to like the idea of like the fallen people or like the Jews, right? Because like historically, if you look at like descriptions of Jews, or I guess like comedically this was played up in not Inglorious Bastards, the recent like comedic movie where the Hitler Youth kid
Oh,
Oh,
with
was
Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, Jojo Rabbit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where he was talking about how like, well, Jews have forked tongues and blah blah blah. Because like a lot of the imagery that was used in depiction of like satanic stuff was also reappropriated to Jews. So we do
Yeah.
have a conception of Jews being like these conniving, wheeling, and dealing types, I think, in large part because it's like the common language of Christian evil. So
Uh-huh.
basically, we made Jews too cool, and the Christians are mad about it. And they're trying to take it back.
It is crazy to look at some like there was a like an afternoon that I was just looking at like Nazi propaganda posters that were anti-Semitic, like just pictures of Jews as like snake demons, like crazy shit, and it's like it is crazy how they
Just do that for
portrayed
fun.
us. I mean, as a Jew, it's my right, right? I can look at that shit, like, but like anti-Semitic, like Nazi era propaganda posters are like really insane, and
Well, I'm
yeah, I don't know
curious
where.
if like what Vaush was saying, how they made him too cool, because I have seen the ones where it's like Viper stuff, but towards the end of the war, there's a lot of Nazi propaganda where Jews are like very fat and have like the big nose and the like jowl type thing. I wonder
It's
if
Yeah.
that was
like an
them
appropriation of anti-capitalist propaganda because they
of
because
Russian anti-capitalists. Yeah, right.
yeah, because the Nazis tried to play both sides, where at the same time they were like, oh yeah, we are far right, we are kitsch, we are fascist, we play to the Volk, to the fatherland, Jews are bad because they're degenerate. But then there was this like fake attempt to appeal to like the working class who were really mad about the Great Depression with this like, oh yeah, actually Jews are the bourgeoisie, and they tried to have it
Yeah.
like both ways, and it's which is like bullshit, of course. Like they knew they were lying, but they played up the propaganda in every direction they could.
You're making Hitler sound like an evil John Waters,
I know.
which is kind of. I mean,
uh,
the mustache thing and like the flamboyancy. There's something there.
there's
Oh, he
something
was fruity.
there.
He was fruity.
Someone
Yeah,
come
for
Well,
up
sure.
with
we
something.
were talking about on a recent podcast, like the fashion of the because Hugo Boss designed the Nazi uniforms, and which I had learned recently, and like actually looking at what the Nazi uniforms looked like, it kind of makes it's like, did you guys just want to
Fresh
play
as hell,
Did you
dude.
just want to play dress up? Because you could do that. You look dripped out. Like you didn't have to do all this other crap. You could just dress like
You don't have to
whatever you
do
want.
fascism. You can
You don't
just
have to
be
do
gay.
fashion. You
It's
can
fine.
yeah. I mean, like, it does make you think with the psychology behind, like, what that must do to the common person when you're seeing the people, the Nazi uniforms that are just like, I mean, they just look crazy. Like they had like the hats and the jackets and
Dude, they
the
looked
puffy
fresh as hell.
pants,
Like,
and they look. I mean, you literally look like.
this
I
is
mean, it's
proof. My mom always tells me because I'll go to an interview at Chipotle or something. You need to wear a tuxedo. You need to wear a tuxedo. They'll respect you. They'll do what you say. That's proof of like, because how could people
So
have
true.
gone along with the Nazis? Dude, they were so drippy. If that guy told me to eat my own ass, I would have tried to find a way
like, all
to
right,
do
all
it.
right.
Yeah, like
Well, there. I
I'll
mean,
do it.
there is an argument to be made about like fashion as an extension of like intuitive authority, right? Which is one. Which is one of the
Dylan
reasons
Roof,
why,
right?
like,
I mean,
huh?
Dylan Roof was a big fashion. The guy that shot up that black church.
Yeah.
Was
Wasn't
he?
your
He was big
implication
into
fashion was tied? Oh yeah, he was like big on the fa board. He would always post fits.
Oh, was he? Oh no,
Oh,
no.
Did you
really?
guys
This
not know about that? Oh,
No,
No,
oh
I
no,
didn't
I
know.
didn't know that, but this happens like a lot. Yeah, and this is one of the reasons, right? Like I'm not a fan of communist dictators or whatever, but there's a reason why a lot of them, like when they're doing their revolutionary shit, they dress in like regular green military fatigues. I mean, Fidel Castro was essentially like dictator for life, and he's still like the entire time. Like if
Yeah.
it wasn't for the fact that he had a couple extra medals, you could have just said it's like, oh yeah, he's like an army like captain or whatever.
Yeah,
The way
Right.
they dress down. It's like oh, they're a man of the people, and then you look at like the way like the SS dress, it's like holy. Like half of the cost of training these guys was just fitting the uniform, because
Yeah.
you convey the authority without like needing to justify it.
there's something
It is
dope
pretty
about these guys
outrageous.
looked fresh as hell, and we sent our boys over there and like the equivalent of wartime like loose jeans and a t-shirt,
Literally.
and they just beat the shit out of those
Yeah.
guys, bro. Like, God,
That's
dude.
that's the classic underdog story, though. It's
it
fun
really
to
is,
watch.
bro.
It's fun to. It's like watching, like a homeless guy who's being harassed by a rich guy, and he just gets up and he just bites his face off, and you're like,
Dude,
let's fucking
I would pay
go.
so much money. People were freaking out. I'm sure Vaush, you had discourse on this, but
Mhm.
all these fake right-wing guys who pretend they're men who are little babies were like, can you believe this is happening in the Marines? And it's a Marine deep-throating a dildo on the wall, and all the other grunts are around him like, yeah, like going crazy. And I'm like, you clearly have
That's
never
morale.
been in the military
You
or
have no
never
idea what these
interacted
guys
with
are.
anyone in the gayest men I know are military dudes. Like
That's always how it's been. It
literally
was
just
like
how
that
it
with the
is.
Nazis too.
My point being is I would pay so much money to not be in World War II, but to be like an ethereal spirit that couldn't get hurt on like a group of Jewish and Italian soldiers. The shit they were saying to each other was so foul, dude.
So,
Like,
okay, and the
oh, of
Nazis
course.
too.
foul, dude.
And the
Yeah.
Nazis too, man. All of them, because like they're charged up and they're around like nothing
Well,
but
the
other
Nazis
dudes.
they were saying crazy. Like, if you've ever been up with someone on coke or meth, like the Nazis were all methed out. They were probably talking gibberish, dude. Like
Yeah.
gabagool.
I mean, did you guys ever hear the there's like
you guys cool if I
don't know if it's
bring AJ in, by the way?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I don't know if it's somebody famous or important who's told this story, but I think it was just a soldier who fought in World War II who was telling a story about how like he was on the battlefield, he was in one of like the trenches. It was like after a battle had just ended and now it was nighttime and almost everyone was dead except for him, and he knew that there was a German soldier that was in a trench like
Somewhere.
somewhere like a few yards away from him or something like that, and both of them were just like the last two men on the battlefield, and like they were both sitting there kind of waiting for the other one to fire, and I think the German soldier had a trumpet on him, and he just started playing like a classical tune or something like in the dead of night, and just like both of them were in their own trenches, and the guy and the German soldier was just like playing this like tune, and the American soldier's telling the story about how he's just like, it's just crazy how we're both humans and we got swept up in our ideologies, and but here we are in this like field of all of our fallen brothers, and he's playing, but it's which is so profound, but also it's like for every one of those stories, there's 1,000 stories of dudes that are just like, oh, I saw a dude's eyeball go into another man's asshole because they like, you know what I mean? Like
blown
it's
to
like,
pieces.
So
Mr. AJ.
Hola.
By the way, AJ, if you want, we do have Vaush here. If he disagrees with you on anything, you could easily get some free clout and cancel him on Twitter. Okay?
It's true.
yeah.
This is a good opportunity.
Perfect.
Easily.
I'll have a little
Easily.
bit more context for every other day when Vaush is trending in my For You tabs. It's like, I'm
Yeah,
like,
sorry
what's
about
going
that.
on?
Why
I
does it
didn't
say
ask for
children and horse right beneath it? What's
Yeah,
going
hang on
on?
a
I didn't
second.
ask for it. I didn't consent to it. It happens without my permission. It's
Oh,
nonstop.
wait,
It's
Vaush,
unfair.
did something happen that you had to come forward and denounce My Little Pony? Because I saw that recently that you had to say you don't
Announce My
actually-
Little Pony. I don't even like My Little Pony.
That's what I'm saying. I saw
That's
you post something
shocking.
recently.
That
you
is
you just
shocking.
said something. You just posted something that I thought the other day that you were like, I don't even like My Little Pony. Or
Yeah, I
something.
don't, because people because like
Did
horse.
something
Like, I,
happen?
it's too simply
Vaush was
sweet.
saying
It's
I
too
was
saccharine.
talking about My Little Pony that I own and have sex with. I don't like the
Oh,
people.
yeah,
I
I
love
like it.
My
No.
Little Pony. Yeah.
Because that was my pet name for it. And then like the show came out and it was like, well, now everyone's gonna think I'm talking about a stupid gay brony show, you know?
Oh,
Dude,
I'm
why is that such a
misunderstanding.
like? There's a lot of right wing bronies, dude. What is going on with that? That is
Same
like.
thing with the Nazis. A lot of repressed homosexuality.
Is that
It's
it?
just
Is
a
that
lot-
what it is? All right, that makes sense.
I don't know. I don't like the show. It's like I liked Steven Universe for parts. There are some pretty like dope parts in like some kids shows
Reddit
or Cartoon
alert.
Network or whatever.
Reddit
But-
alert.
Reddit alert.
You're saying
Reddit, but,
My
like,
Little Pony was
not
too
NLP.
like intelligent for you. You were saying it was.
Yeah, it was too high minded. It wasn't like
okay.
it was like seinen, not shonen.
All
You know,
right.
I need my Goku battle.
I'm
action
seeing
figure.
it. I'm seeing it.
That's like did you know that oh god, I hate starting a sentence like this, but you know that
Are you
meme?
better, by the
You
way,
know that, like-
Harris?
No, I'm still sick. I got my
Oh.
tea here. Well, I'm feeling a little better, but it's one of those things where like I feel normal during the day, and then as soon as I go down to sleep, I can't breathe out of my nose, and then I have to mouth breathe all night, and I wake up even worse the next morning.
Are you?
That's like where I'm at right now.
Do you make sure you're not sleeping on your face?
I'm not sleeping on my face,
Because when
but
I
I
sleep
like
on my face, I cannot breathe, dude.
can't breathe. Yeah,
Who sleeps
I,
on their face?
Belly
Real
sleeping is
men.
insane.
Isn't
No,
it
I
bad
do-
for
I
it?
do belly
Lowers your
sleep.
caloric burning, doesn't it?
It kills you
Is that
instantly,
true?
is what it does.
Yeah, I'm not
Die.
even lying, dude. If you sleep on your stomach, it slows down your metabolism. No joke.
You are laying on your
really,
organs.
I didn't know that.
I
Good
don't
to
know. I don't know why, but yeah.
It's like a green text where somebody's like, I'm going to join a gym, and I ask the lady at the front desk before I join, I'm like, before I join, is this
Yes.
gym cringe or
Creepy or
based?
wet.
And she's like, I don't know what that means. And he's like, I show her like a detailed diagram of like cringe and based and what it means in different examples. And she just laughs and she's like, it's a good gym, sir. And I sign up and it's cringe.
It's
Something
cringe
like
and
that.
wet.
And it's like, I just saw somebody do like an edit of that for like a local pride parade. And they were like, ask somebody in attendance, like, is this pride parade Steven Universe or ketamine?
Yes, yes.
And they're like, I have to show them a detailed diagram, and they're like,
Whether it's
it's a good
ketamine or
parade, and it's like, it
It's
was
Steven
Steven
Universe.
Universe. Yeah.
It's Steven Universe.
It's so good.
Have you guys enjoyed any Pride festivities yet?
I know
this,
you have, bro. You were getting.
I've been going out hard. I mean, I was sick last week, so in
I don't
LA,
leave the house.
in LA, there was a they call it the Pride Apocalypse. So LA Pride used to be based in West Hollywood. Now LA Pride has moved downtown, and WeHo has their own thing. So it's back-to-back weekends of.
Do they have like an
debauchery.
elitist pride? It's like if you're super gay, you can go to the WeHo one. Or
I think
like...
that's the WeHo one.
Okay.
They're
Oh,
operating
really?
on a different level. Like
Dude,
if you want,
there's
if you want
I used to
body
go to WeHo Pride.
dysmorphia, if you want body dysmorphia, just go to WeHo Pride for about 15 seconds. You're just like,
the great
twinks.
thing about West Hollywood is that you will see a bunch of like gorgeous men who spend 4 hours a day in the gym, and you can like you can feel all right because you know for a fact that like 30% of them would just let you fuck would just let you fuck them in the bathroom if you
Wow.
asked.
In any case,
Like,
yeah,
if
it
you
doesn't
ask-
matter.
I guess
like,
it
it's
makes
like,
me
oh,
feel
they're
all right.
so beautiful, but it doesn't
I-
matter because like it, you know, it's fine. You can be a disgusting slob in West Hollywood, man, because those guys, they're all over the fucking place.
Dude, one of my gay friends had to explain to me. It was only a few years ago that I learned that cruising was a thing. That like one of my friends had to explain to me that if I understand correctly, it's literally like two gay men will recognize that the other one is gay in a public area and just
Yeah.
give each other the eye,
so-
and it's
Yeah.
pretty much a signal to like
there's
hook
also
up.
there's also dedicated places. So like I'm from Illinois, all the forest preserves out there. If you back your car in to a parking spot, that means you're open for business.
What?
Yes, dude. And it was like a well-known thing, or we thought it was a well-known thing, or
How did
whatever.
you-
Bianchi's older brother, it just backs in one day to the car.
Classic.
And he's doing paperwork, and this guy comes up. He's like looking at him from the other car. The guy comes up, and he keeps looking at him. He's like, "What's this guy looking at me for?" The guy comes up, knocks on the window, and he's just being weird. So Bianchi's brother's just like, "I don't know, get out, get out." And then a little bit later, he looks over, and the dude's just going to. Wow.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
But dude, Harris, I got another one for you. So there's a big park out here called Elysian Park. It's the
Oh,
park
this is
above
good. This is good.
Dodger Stadium, right? And so
Uh-huh.
we're taking hikes and just like walking around, and we get to this one side of the mountain, and it looks like a dump truck had come by and dumped out literally tens of thousands of rubber bands.
Mhm.
And we're just like, what the fuck is this? And we keep walking. Suddenly this guy comes out of nowhere, and he's kind of like following us around and like just staring at us from a distance. And we're like, what? This must be a cruising spot or something. So we walk back, and we find several mattresses that have just been shoved underneath bushes. And there's like a box of tissues and stuff. It dawns on us that was not a dump of rubber bands. They were the bases of condoms
Oh
that
my
had all
god.
run down the nail.
Jesus
And just
Christ,
like the
dude.
main shaft part had just dissolved.
Dude, I know that I'm just naive or whatever because I had no idea this was a thing until I was at like the ripe age of like 26. That one of my friends explained to me that was a thing, and he was like, oh yeah, like you know this friend, he just did that today. He was just telling me he like met some. I was like, dude, what the man? Like
There-
it is
can't
kind of
handle it.
insane.
There,
Like,
there
yeah.
are still signs in parts of LA that you cannot just drive. It says literally no cruising like midnight to 6 a.m. And if you're just like driving on the street aimlessly, you will get arrested.
What the hell, dude?
It's
I had,
it's less of a thing proportional to like the gay community. The cruising scene has become less of a thing
Well, now
over time.
Grinder. I mean,
And it's
you know what I
more
mean?
well, right? Because if you're in
Yeah.
LA, like in West Hollywood, you don't need a secret signal to see if somebody's gay.
Right.
True.
So it's the cruising thing in like LA and a lot of other places. I think nowadays is largely vestigial, and it's more of like an iconic gay culture thing. But there are
Okay.
parts of the country where it's actually like the way you have to meet
Thriving.
other guys, and in other countries too. Like because effectively, like we call it cruising, they don't, but like that's what they're doing in Saudi Arabia, that's what they're doing in Iran, in every country where there are gay people, which is all of them, and they're not allowed to be gay. Like
What?
that, there's some version of that.
Wait
that
a
they're
minute.
doing.
Proof.
Hang on a second.
Proof. Do you have
Proof? That's getting my photos together.
Wait, what isn't it in the UK though, like heterosexual? It wouldn't be cruising, but like having sex in like public bathrooms and stuff. I think they have their own term for it. And it's like a hetero
Buggering?
thing.
Wasn't it
Wimbly
buggering?
Wombly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna
exactly.
be some scrum diddly
Scrumdiddly
umptious.
Yeah,
Double.
so
Dude, I also love
just
did,
cockaroony.
did you guys watch that conservative beer ad?
Yes, dude. When
And
he's
it
walking
start-
out of the
it's
bathroom.
Nurse bitch.
He starts out with him walking
It
out
looks
of a
like he's
public
cruising.
bathroom.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
like, what are you doing in there, big
Oh,
dog?
dude,
He
AJ,
looks, he looks fruity as hell.
does
too.
look
He's
like
got like
fruity,
just
That is
packed his
crazy.
body
Looks
into
ready to
those
rock.
jeans.
Dude,
Yeah.
Dude, AJ sent me. Did you guys also see this? I watched it, and we didn't even bring it up.
Oh, we
when
didn't talk
recorded
about it,
last,
yeah.
but it was the video of the rappers that were like in
Oh,
Target,
yes.
and they're like targeting
our kids, yeah.
targeting our kids. Vaush, have you seen
Banger.
that?
Oh, I saw it. Banger.
Dude,
Yeah.
banger,
Wait,
banger,
but-
and I love that they go there and they can't find enough
anything.
rain. They can't find anything. They have
Anything.
one bottle of like wine.
Stella Rosa.
Stella
which is
Rosa
like
with
the
a rainbow
cheapest
on it.
import Lambrusco in
And
the world.
they're just like holding bottles of it, and they're like, "Can you believe this shit?"
I
But
like the one where
I'm
they're
like,
holding
what?
the tampons and they're just like,
yeah,
Yeah,
Can you
like what?
believe
Because they're like,
this?
what is this woke holding up like a fucking
A
blue box of
tam-
tampon?
It's
Yeah.
so funny.
It's you guys. I don't think have stumbled across my trad wife sock puppet account where I'm just promoting free
Yes,
bleeding.
yeah.
Is
Oh, I
all true
love that
conservative trad wives should be doing.
Oh
So
god,
That's what the
real.
big
Isn't that
dresses
You know, the
are
Jews
for.
invented tampons.
Did they?
I did not know that.
I knew it.
No,
the
I've heard that.
cloth, the cotton Jew, as they call it. I love when people refer to the TV as the electric Jew. It's so fun
What?
because it's propaganda. So it's the electric Jew or whatever.
Oh,
I've heard
my
people
God, I've
on
never heard that.
4chan, Indians will refer to the toilet as the purse.
Oh my God,
dude,
the
that's
porcelain
awesome.
Wait, why?
bro.
Why Jews? They hate Muslims over there. Why would they pick on Jews?
That's
I
true.
know,
They do
like,
love
Indians,
Yeah, they,
I don't know if Indians hate Muslims. It's more of like a big brother, little brother dynamic where the Muslims are very mean to the Indians. That,
Don't
at
you
least
get
Oh,
that-
they
don't
picked
you
up
get
a
that-
couple
place.
wars over Kashmiri province. I don't know, man.
All
They're
right, yeah,
going
I'm
at it.
speaking out of my ass.
I feel
don't
like
know
the
what
big
I'm
the big brother
about.
little brother thing is like Israel and India, because if you see on Twitter whenever like Israel posts something and it'll be like much
Brother,
love from India, brother, and
Yeah.
the flags in the hand and the
So
handshake,
insane.
but then immediately underneath that it's just Israeli accounts just being like, you guys we hate India.
Yeah. I was just talking about that I was telling Zach this, that like I posted this comic of the new AJ. You saw the new Spider-Verse movie, right?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Why?
You haven't
Because
seen
he's
it, okay.
black. He saw the new
No, well,
Spider-Verse movie, Harris.
Everybody should see
Everybody
it.
should
Everybody
see
should see it.
I'm
It's
sure.
very good. And there's a character in there, Spider-Punk, who is black. And I drew a comic featuring him, and I posted it on Instagram. And I
Good
got
comic.
Oh, thank you. I was Thanks. I was talking about how for some reason on Twitter these days, like my comics don't really seem to leave my follower base, which is fine. But on Instagram, they have a little bit more reach. It did like a flip-flop. And so I get comments from people who don't follow me, who I don't know, who are just like randoms. And I posted that comic featuring the Black Spider-Man, featuring Spider-Punk. And there was a guy commented on it that the only reason I'm aware of it is because it sparked in like a 50 comment long thread argument underneath. But this guy commented and it was like so they made a degenerate Spider-Man or like something
Oh
something
my
along
God.
those lines. And I was like, what the hell? And I clicked on it and it was like a 16-year-old like Indian kid, like not
Isn't
like
there an Indian Spider-Man in the new movie?
there is an Indian Spider-Man too, and like
I love him.
and dude, he was great, and I was like, what is this? And now it's that guy and like 3 other people all fighting and wrestling in the comments, and none of them follow me, and I'm getting notifications on Instagram
That's
for it.
when-
and I'm
It's
like,
free
when-
entertainment.
this
When I
shit,
was
like,
when I was in college, like when Facebook first started, I got my friends to start a thing where we would go to random people's pages and just have conversations on their walls
so good.
without knowing them or interacting with them at all.
Dude, isn't the
Dude.
wall wasn't that the main point of Facebook? I've not been on there in years, but didn't they get rid of the wall?
Is it not a thing anymore?
That was like the whole
Wait,
thing.
they got rid of the
I
wait,
could be
what?
wrong. I could be wrong, but
The
I'm
wall?
90% sure the wall is
Like
gone.
you having
Your page.
Yeah.
right your page.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you
uh-huh.
just like
Oh, the feed.
retweet stuff now. It's very I don't know. I'm not sure. I just know my
it's
dad
a
dude,
cesspool.
I went to visit my parents and my dad's like, dude, this has been bothering me for so long. Please help me, son, please. And I'm like, what's going on? And he takes me to his Facebook page. And in the corner of your photos now, instead of having to right click and click edit or whatever to get there, there's just a little pencil button in the corner that you click to edit
What
the
the hell?
photo. And I had to explain to him that that's not showing up on his photos for other people. It was
Okay.
simply a personal edit button
Edit.
for himself, because he was like, dude, all these people are seeing my photo and there's a pencil on the corner of them and I don't know what's got. And I was like,
You're
Dad,
like,
it's-
no,
you're
that's
totally
an
good.
edit
You're
button.
Totally
That's
good, boss.
classic.
You're good.
Dude, I know. I haven't I haven't been on Facebook, I want to say, in like 4 years. I don't think I've been on
God, not for
website.
ages for
Facebook
me.
is the
It's
new
been-
Reddit, bro. It's Reddit.
I think it's worse than
It's
Reddit.
far worse
Yeah.
than Reddit.
But I
It's-
will tell you, Facebook Marketplace has definitely overtaken like Craigslist and any of
it's
that
fresh
other
as
shit.
hell.
That's
Oh,
my
yeah.
main
Sell
area for
shit
buying
so
shit.
easy.
That
We
that
gotta-
part's cool.
Screw Facebook, screw Craigslist. We have the two greatest political minds of our generation here today, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get
That's
into
true.
it. We need to get into it.
Politics
need-
What's
corner,
happening,
baby.
Ron
What is the-
DeSantis.
Ron the
what's going on?
meatball with no sauce, DeSantis.
Mr.
Yes.
Dry.
That's a
Got 'em.
delusion all original right there.
Copyright. That's good.
we're all DeSant heads here, right?
Yeah, big
Yeah,
course,
DeSantis.
all of us
Oh, yeah.
love the guy.
It's mostly just because I love his wife, and then by extension him.
yeah.
Do you know what I do love? This new clip of Donald Trump where he's like, that's circulating, instant classic, where he's like,
Oh,
I did everything right and they indicted me.
They indicted
I
me.
love the,
Indicted me.
I
Yeah,
love
it's-
the way that he says
Why
it.
is he
He's just
talking like psychic pebbles? I don't understand.
he talks like
dude.
he talks like a Muppet. Like he just sounds so funny to me. I like the easily funniest president we've ever had. Like, I mean, just
Effortlessly. I do think Biden does have the potential to be funny in a different way. They just don't give
Yes.
us the content.
He's more slapstick, with the pratfalls and like running
Yeah.
into. If
But
like if Biden, if Kamala painted a giant,
yes,
like
Looney Tunes
cave
tunnel.
once,
Yeah.
and Biden
Yes.
like ran in, that would be
But,
awesome.
I mean, there have been some Biden classics, like Mr. They're like when you're still running, they're like, Biden, how many genders are there?
There at least 3. But yeah, scurries off.
Banger.
Dude, didn't he
no
also
balls.
didn't he also
Instant
say like
classic.
"shut up, fat" or something to someone?
Yes, the
who's
shut
like,
up fat, the push up competition.
Okay, that's good.
wait,
Those are all
Adrian,
good.
did you I forget if you showed me his like corn pop story. Do you know
That's
what,
a
dude?
Oh yeah, the corn
classic.
Yeah,
pop
that's
also
classic. I think you might have brought that up on like the
God,
first
the
episode.
kid-
But they
we did
also
it, yeah.
buried the lead because corn pop is what everybody. I mean, at the time they were also talking about this portion, but corn pop is the lasting thing that everybody remembers. But the craziest part to me was like all the little black kids like to come up and rub the
Rub
hair
my
on my
leg.
leg.
Oh yeah. It's like what the hell is going on?
Oh
here?
yeah. All
Oh
right.
no, but there
question.
was okay.
Let me hear Vaush's answer first, and then AJ. Do you guys
Uh-oh.
think? First of all, if you don't agree with this, but I'm assuming this 2024 it's going to be Biden versus Trump, in my
Yep.
opinion.
Yeah.
You guys both
I
agree
would
with
say
that?
So.
Yep.
I would say
I agree.
most likely. Yeah.
Who's winning and why? Okay, because I'm
wait.
so curious. I'm so curious.
I think right now things are leaning slightly towards Biden, but not by a huge amount, but slightly. It like there's so many unknowns, right, with how this most recent indictment plays out.
Is
do you
Ron...
Sorry, do you have any like crazy like not it doesn't have to be something that actually is going to happen, but like say Biden gets sick or Biden dies or Trump dies or something, do you see like a dark horse candidate? Like do you have like any pet theories you're operating on right now?
Well,
But-
for me, the funniest universe is the one where both of them die, and it's
That's
like
insane.
the lowest
Base
participation of any
Vaush!
election ever, and
Yes.
it's Kamala Harris versus DeSantis.
In fucking
And, like,
2%,
5 people show up.
yeah,
Oh my
2%
God.
voter turnout.
No
It's
one
just
would
the
vote, dude.
electorate.
No
Yeah.
one would vote.
That is the goofiest universe, the goofiest time.
I-
We all
so
agree
excited for
Mike
this.
Pence has no chance because he just
No
threw his hat in the
chance,
ring. He
and
doesn't-
You're
no
right,
one
yeah.
cares.
I will say he's got some balls. Like I don't, I didn't get most of the January 6th hype, but he has some f***ing balls. Like they want him dead, and Pence still is going out there and being like, "I'm going out here to not get a single f***ing delegate and potentially have my life threatened every
The
step
man
of
is
the way."
just eating a giant shit sandwich, and he's not frowning. He's just.
Well, the Republican establishment like desperately wants to move away from Trump.
Yeah.
Because so
Big.
my
the
opinion, like,
older guys
Republican-
do. You think
He's their,
even the
he's
younger
their
guys
strongest. He's their strongest
Just-
warrier. Why would
Well,
they
just
want to
just the establishment, right? Because
okay.
Trump isn't reliable. And so this is my personal political bias coming out, but I think the GOP is fully committed to fascism and are looking to erode the democracy that we have. What little facsimile of it we have
You guys think
is
full
directly
on, like
quickly as
full on
possible.
people
Like
dying?
full on. Like I legitimately think that they would go as far as they possibly could. Like we would be seeing parallels to like Pinochet at best and like Mussolini at worst, maybe. But like obviously there are barriers, right? And I think one of the barriers is Trump, because Trump's super popular, but Trump isn't like ideologically fascist the way that DeSantis is. Trump is just like a narcissist who really likes listening to people applaud. He was recently doing a speech where he was like, and we'll keep the transgenders off the kids, and everyone starts applauding, and he's like,
that wasn't a bad Trump.
It was
good.
good.
Thank you. But he was like, 5 years ago, nobody cared. I talk about like tax cuts. Everyone used to go crazy. Now all everyone cares about is like trans people and like that. Like he's very transparently grifting the like far right stuff. Whereas DeSantis really believes it. Trump's hard to predict. He can't really be counseled on legal stuff because he's an idiot. So I think the GOP just wants to transfer that energy over to like an empty suit like DeSantis.
But somebody who could get it done.
It's literally like Full Metal Alchemist, where they're trying to transfer this powerful soul into a vessel that cannot,
a weak vessel.
It's going to explode and blow up, and your mom
who also has the attention span of a cat chasing a laser. Like it's anybody who's as online as DeSantis's whole crew is, just feeds him a conveyor belt of Twitter drama. Then he goes out there and it's like woke shit. It was before he announced. Do you guys remember he did this one speech, and it was they were doing some relief like from a storm or something like that, and he's on this stupid dais, and there are Huggies diapers flanking him on either side, and he's just talking about woke shit with diapers on either side of him. He's such an awkward guy. And even his wife wore this leather jacket in Iowa.
The alligator
recently.
one, right?
The alligator one. And it says, it's just outline of Florida with an alligator over it. And it's where woke goes to die.
Yeah, that I've seen.
Which grammatically, I get what they're saying. But like, doesn't it sound like Florida has like a very liberal, self-euthanasia policy?
Like where they go to retire?
Woke is like woke is doing some medical tourism down in Florida. They've come there on their own volition, and they think
ready to be put
it's best
down.
to die with dignity.
Dude, that is.
Have you seen
crazy.
the slogan "Make America Florida," which is A, cribbing off of Trump's thing, and B, who the wants to be
literally Florida and New Jersey have consistently been, when you need to make a joke about a shitty state, it's Florida, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, or like Mississippi.
I think all the kids do Ohio now. It's like the
Ohio,
Ohio, yeah.
Just that it's like all empty.
It's white people don't say in Mother Russia anymore. They say only in Ohio.
It's literally the same meme. It's so.
But why would they even make that's like Make America Florida? Because it's like, do you just want the Florida vote? Because you probably already got the Florida vote, aren't you? Isn't that not helping your case with any other
it's
state?
really, really dumb. Yeah,
it's
because
not good marketing.
Even leaving the fact that like not like that's a really dumb thing to say when you're running as president, because it's kind of suggesting that you're going to be like state preferential.
Right.
It also, Republicans really like states' rights. Like Iowan Republicans and Montanan Republicans and Wyoming Republicans and Ohio Republicans all like their states. Maybe they think their states are woke, but like they're all these like, there's like a strong regionalist preference. So for DeSantis to go like, oh yeah, I'm the Florida governor, but I'm gonna be big. I'm gonna be big Florida governor. Well, it's really dumb.
It's dumb as hell. Well, Vaush, did you hear the clip of him saying when he was doing his stop in Iowa, he was like, Florida looks to Iowa. Like,
and then in another state, he was like, Florida looks to Wisconsin.
The humidity down there, the cheese curds they don't get as squeaky, but we still love what you guys are doing up here.
I'm not the best read on people because as you can tell, I've befriended Vaush, canceled horseman. I wasn't able to pinpoint that, but DeSantis gives me the same feeling given to me by a certain Bush brother of just this low energy loser trying so hard to be liked. Literally, and it's just
there's not a bigger try hard in the world. Harvard, Yale, Rhode Island scholar, I believe, and a JAG.
And you're still 5'6". What the hell happened,
with
big
the
guy?
with the lifts.
Is he 5'6"?
Hey, I don't know. I
He's
think
not
he's like
that- he's not
5'8" or
that
something.
short.
I'm
No, he's a
I'm
little taller,
5'8"
but
too. I don't. Yeah. I don't even know why I'm
wears-
ripping
He
on.
wears lifts though, and they are clearly visible in every. Or he
That's
doesn't
not
wear
good.
lifts.
Trained
He
on
wears
Trump
heels.
mannerisms too. Like his team has been training him to do the hand things.
I hate that, dude.
Oh my God.
Tries so hard to do Trump
Oh my
stuff, and it's
God.
like, dude, please just go
Hang
back.
it up.
Did you guys catch that? I don't know where the footage came from, but it's like Matt Gaetz in a hotel room with DeSantis, and they're like doing debate prep, and Matt Gaetz is trying to be like a Trump stand-in. So this must be from like the first run
This
or
already
whatever.
sounds so
But
cringe.
and then
dude.
he's
This
like
sounds gay.
I know.
he's trying, yeah, just two bros hanging out in a hotel room. What's weird about
one
that?
pretending to be Trump for some
One
reason.
pretending to be Trump, but
Yeah.
he's like he's nailing him on something and pretend to be Trump.
He's
and
nailing him?
He's nailing him hard. Pause. But he's like, DeSantis is getting frustrated in a mock debate where there's only two guys in there, and he's like, Matt Gaetz
my
is like, you
God.
got to settle down, man. You got to settle down. Don't get all worked up. And he's like, well, if he just would stick to the issues and not get so personal, we wouldn't have this problem. It's
Oh
like,
my God.
oh wow,
You
dude.
can't
It's
even
over.
be fake
It's
Trump.
over.
You
It's
can't even
over.
be fake
Yeah.
Trump, bro. Didn't you know? You guys would know more about this because you're our technical two lefty correspondent stand-ins. Didn't
Instead
Matt-
of our centrist hosts.
hey,
Are
hey,
not
we're not
centrist.
centrist.
Yeah. I'm usually the far right, like genocidal.
Yeah, Harrison's
host of
true,
this.
yeah.
genocidal. I'm trying to bring him towards the center a little bit.
Bring him back.
What was I gonna say? What was I leading into?
What were you gonna
What was
say? I have no
saying?
idea.
Oh, didn't Matt Gaetz recently redeem himself in the eyes of the left for something recently, or am I misunderstanding something?
Matt Gaetz.
Didn't he do
Did Matt
something
Gaetz do
recently that was like against? He went against the
The
like,
debt ceiling
Oh,
stuff.
Is that what it was?
Was that it? Let me check.
Something happened
It
where
was,
I
it's
saw
either that or he said that he approved of the investigation into Donald Trump.
It was something because it looked
Yeah.
like all the people who used to think he was cool kind of turned their backs like very quick.
I love the idea of like the stand-in Donald Trump thing when he's doing like the fake debate, because like the NBA does the same thing where you get a guy on your team where when you're like scrimmaging against them, they act as like, you know, that other team has this really talented big man that plays in this style, so we need like a smaller version of that. So when our guys are in practice, they can scrimmage. And then we lose to that team, and that kid gets chopped like he's on the chopping block, and it's like, I don't see Matt Gaetz like.
He's
staying
also,
with that
I
clique for
believe,
very
wearing
long.
a Target Pink Floyd rainbow prism t-shirt.
Oh, that's
like
so
Really?
good.
Oh
is
my god.
pre-distressed.
So he went woke. He's got the woke.
Yeah, I can't
the
believe
got
woke
woke.
album
Woke.
cover.
It's
No,
so
apparently Roger Waters is apparently a Nazi now. If
That
is
that's
what they're-
so stupid. But it was
Yeah,
it
that
wasn't
was so cool to
Americans'
learn.
misunderstanding. It wasn't him who was in Germany doing the tour.
It was I think it was like Brits who were mad.
Oh my god. Anyway,
About-
dude, I didn't even realize we were less than a minute. Oh, Gold Cuts. I'm calling you from inside of a. Wow, that's. I'm not doing a Jewish reference. Wow. Okay, I'm calling you. Wait a minute. Wow, Cold Cuts. I'm calling you from inside of a Hispanic nightclub for some reason, but last episode was so exciting. We forgot to thank Harrison Zach forgot to thank the patrons, so let me hack into their account real quick. I'm almost 29 and I'm doing this. Wait, let's see. Click patron. Okay, I'm hacking in. I'm almost hacked in. Oh, that's not it. Oh, there we go. Okay. Patreon changed how they do this, so I'm okay. There we go. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to thank the patrons because I'm Wario. I'm evil. So This is okay. Protagon. You. Protista. You. Gwyn. You. Coin Plant. You. Shalom Guy. You. Bugs on my wee wee. You. Big Tasty. You. A giant hairy spider. You. Jizen. Trashbinz. Brat Brat Pew Pew. T Stilly. Snake Oiler Man and Snake Oiler Woman. Shrek the Third. Conga Heli. you guys. That's, yes.
How's it going, Cold Cuts fans? It's the future President Donald Trump. This is the first half of the episode. If you want to catch the other half, you're going to have to swing over to patreon.com/coldcuts. This is the first time I'm hearing this. That's patreon.com/COLDCUTS to hear the rest. We've got 50 bonus episodes. It'll knock your wig off. In an amazing community, none of them were present during the January 6th riots. So quit asking about it. It didn't happen.